everybody, my name is Ricky Warwick, and thank you for joining me here on my balcony in my home in Los Angeles. A big thank you to HMV for asking me to pick some of my favorite records from my vinyl record collection. Not an easy task, but I've had a go, and here's a few of them, and we'll see what you think. I'm going to kick it all off with Black Rose by Thin Lizzy. Soundtrack of my life, growing up in Ireland. Lizzy were it, and this is an amazing record. Probably my favorite Lizzy album, although it's so hard to pick one. The songs on this are just incredible. The guitar playing of Scott Gorham and Gary Moore in this blows my mind. The desperation in Phil's voice and his lyrical genius is never more apparent and just so strong on this album. You know, one of my favorite songs is "Do Anything You Want To." I've got the first verse tattooed on my leg. That's how much that song means to me. There are people that will investigate you, they'll insinuate, intimidate, and complicate you. Don't ever wait or hesitate to state the fate that awaits those who try to shake or take you. Don't let them break you. You can do anything you want to. I mean, amazing. I mean, if that doesn't move you, I don't know what is. But Thin Lizzy, Black Rose, and this is one of the reissues that just came out last year, and it's really cool. They've reissued all the albums now, and well worth getting hold of, and it sounds amazing. Thin Lizzy, Black Rose. Talking of dueling guitars, another band that do the dual guitar, harmony guitar thing amazingly well is Big Country. Scotland's finest. The Crossing came out in 1983. Blew me away. I mean, the guitars just sound like distorted bagpipes. Stuart Adamson, the late great Stuart Adamson, sadly no longer with us. Great artist, great songwriter, great singer. This album is just so uplifting. It's also got a beautiful ballad on it, a song called Chance, that's probably in my top 10 songs of all time. Real haunting, beautiful melodies, great lyrics, great guitar work, just a really great, solid, anthemic rock and roll album. And yeah, it's timeless. It just sounds as good today as it ever does. So it's Big Country, The Crossing. Okay, this is MC5 High Time. This is the second album from the MC5, the second and final album, sadly, from the MC5. Most of you will know the first album, Kick Out the Jams. But the reason I went for this is, again, it's just got a couple of my favorite songs on it. Future Now and Poison and Sister Ann are just, listen, the MC5 were punk rock before punk rock was a word. They were way ahead of their time. They had a mandate, they were politically motivated, they infused rock and roll with like the soul of James Brown. Their performances were just off the scale, high energy, you know. Future Now is a killer song, killer guitar riff. Poison, man, the partisans, not the artisans, are doing their dirty show. I rip my pants, doing some dance that I learned in France, and they think there ain't nothing to know. Come on. MC5 High Time, and this is pretty cool. It's in a gatefold sleeve. Again, this is a reissue, and it's great. It really is. Opens out, lovely gatefold sleeve. MC5 High Time. Mr. Weller, it is The Jam, All Mod Cons. I believe this is the third album from The Jam. Probably my favorite. Huge Jam fan, huge Paul Weller fan. He's the quintessential English songwriter. He is an amazing songwriter, amazing artist. I've loved Weller from The Jam right up through the Style Council, throughout his solo stuff. I just think he's fantastic. This album has so many good songs on it. You know, Down in the Tube Station at Midnight, the lyrics in that are just genius. Mr. Clean is one of my favorite songs as well. I remember buying this when it came out and playing the thing to death. And it's just, again, for a three-piece band, what a unique and amazing sound they had. There's just nobody like The Jam. And yeah, All Mod Cons by The Jam. Australia's finest, Rose Tattoo. And this album is Assault and Battery. Rose Tattoo from Sydney in Australia. They are like a working class AC/DC. Dirty and gritty, tattooed, great street rock and roll anthems, great singer in the little powerhouse, it's Angry Anderson, and then brilliant slide guitar player, Pete Wells. Lucky enough to meet Pete, who's sadly no longer with us as well. I met Pete when we were down in Australia touring. He actually got up on stage and played with us, and that was an amazing experience. But I love this band. This is a great record to put on and just turn it up real loud if you're going out for the evening. Just in your face, dirty rock and roll, great guitar riffs, snarling lyrics. Yep, Rose Tattoo, Assault and Battery. So that's the 5 albums that I've picked, but I'd like to pick something new that I just got recently. I'll give an honourable mention to this record. This record is from a Swedish band called Viagra Boys, and this is their second album. The first album was called Street Worms, and my wife actually turned me on to the band. She saw them play in Austin and pretty much called me up straight away and says, "You've got to check this band out, Viagra Boys, they're amazing." So she got me into them. This is the second album. It's called Welfare Jazz. Brilliant. I think what I love about them is they just don't care. You know, they've got such a streetwise abandonment about them, and the lyrics are very clever. They're very funny, very clever. Musically, they're a mixture of, you know, there's a saxophone in there, there's you know, distorted bass going on throughout it. Very, very unique and very different. And there's a great song on here called "In Spite of Ourselves," which is a John Prine cover that they do, and they do a great job of it. And there's a duet on there with Amy Taylor from another band I really love, another Australian band called Amyl and the Sniffers, and she's on there in the track in Spite of Ourselves. And this is a great album, good band, and a lot of good things are happening for this band. You should check it out. Viagra Boys, and it's Welfare Jazz. And there you go. So thank you to HMV. I wish I could have brought up the whole record collection, but we've been here for forever. It's hard to pick your favorite records, but that's a few of what I've been listening to recently. Buy vinyl. It's the only way. Listen to records on vinyl. You get the real soul and the real passion, and the real feeling of the music, in my honest opinion. And this has been fun. And thank you to HMV, and thank you to you. And be safe, be well. Thank you.